I'm Joanne Matthews. I'm from Leicester Primary School. I'm a Year 6 teacher. I'm on the Humanities team, but I lead Step 3 pedagogy as well. So our journey to becoming Bridgen's first deforestation-free school. I have to keep saying that because sometimes people say deforestation school is deforestation-free school. And why it matters, because deforestation is a global issue, but our choices here in Wales can make a difference. So at our school, we follow a topic-based curriculum. This particular topic was a perfect fit for humanities. We looked at spirituality through the vibrant artwork of John Dyer, who paints Amazon rainforests and works closely with the Yawanawa indigenous people. Pupils also explored veganism, which later became a powerful theme in their speech writing. And it was a rich cross-curricular journey that brought humanities to life in a meaningful way. So that is our overview, our sort of like topic planner. We do those probably every topic we do, which is probably 4 to 6 weeks. And I had a clear vision for this topic from the start. We always link our big right to our current topic. So I knew this would tie in beautifully with our writer's journey. And at the school, we're passionate about enriching learning through real-world experiences. The previous year, I'd invited a teacher from the Size of Wales charity to run a deforestation-free workshop. It was a one-off, but it sparked something in me, and I applied for their deforestation school programme, which includes 3 free workshops. And, you know, being involved with the Size of Wales charity has just been a phenomenal experience for me. I've been teaching a long time, and actually in this school, it seems a very long time, 26 years, and it was probably one of the highlights this year. Last year and already this year is probably one of the highlights of my career, and that has been because I've been involved in this project. At my first meeting with the charity organisers and their teachers, really, the one I was working closely with was a former teacher, and an LSO was absolutely incredible. I realised just how well this journey aligned with the Welsh National Curriculum, especially humanities and the 4 purposes. I knew this was going to elevate both my teaching and the pupils' learning, and personally, it was a huge opportunity for personal growth. I gained new knowledge and accessed high-quality teacher-made resources that saved me hours of planning. And this quote here from the Size of Wales: together they work with Indigenous and local people worldwide to grow trees and protect at least 2 million hectares of tropical rainforests, an area the size of Wales. They work to ensure a future with forests. So initially, the topics that we were doing had a the climate change was the theme. So in Year 5, they were looking at Antarctica. In Year 6, we were looking at the Amazon rainforest, but that soon just became looking at tropical rainforest as a whole. So these are just some examples of how this topic meets the 4 purposes, and the whole topic is filled with mini inquiries that spark curiosity in learners and myself. Things that we did, which were great fun: we visited an organic farm, which was local, and we had that paid for as well. And I'll talk about that later. So the children didn't actually pay for the bus. It would have cost them quite a bit of money, but they didn't have to pay. So, and we've also had 3 full lessons from the Size of Wales teachers, which were fantastic. So I took this from Liz. So although I knew that becoming a deforestation-free school would be a longer-term journey for our whole school, I wanted to ensure that our Year 6 topic was impactful and manageable within a 6 to 8 week window, because that's usually how our topics work. My goal was for pupils to complete the topic with the knowledge, tools and confidence to investigate, act and inspire others. I used this planning template shared at the Humanities Network by Liz herself as a way to map out the learning, and it aligns beautifully with the awards process, which is to learn, investigate, act and inspire. It helped me keep the focus clear and ensure progression throughout the topic. The way that I use this to support myself, you've got the 6 weeks there, and each week I focused on one of those elements. So to kick off our journey towards becoming a deforestation-free school, we started with an inset training session. It wasn't just informative, it was a fantastic team building exercise. Everybody just had a great evening. And the best part, by the end of the session, staff were already buzzing with ideas of how to weave this learning into their year group topics. Some teachers spotted links with fair trade, others connected it to sustainability themes they were already exploring, and this just showed how adaptable and exciting this work is across the curriculum. It's not just about saving forests, it's about enriching what we already do. And going on, obviously, for the knowledge, the children started with some lessons. I'm going to play, I've got lots and lots of short videos, so bear with me. I hope that you can see them and they work well. This is one of the teachers, so they're just mapping out where coffee and cacao is grown around the world. This is Laura Murphy. Yeah, there they are. So the children did some lovely activities with these teachers. So the classroom sessions delivered by the Science of Wales were brilliant. They focused on the 5 commodities that drive deforestation, starting with coffee and cacao. Pupils got hands-on experience. They ground cocoa beans and made their own Mayan-style hot chocolate. It was a bit bitter, mind. And this led to discussions about fair trade and the journey from farm to fork. One powerful activity involved pupils dividing up a chocolate bar to represent who they thought should earn the most and least money in the supply chain. In the coffee lessons, pupils explored the challenges farmers face, comparing monocropping with agroforestry. They even became soil scientists, setting up experiments to test which soil types had the least runoff. This helped them understand how deforestation affects soil erosion and water quality, and it was a fantastic way to bring humanities to life. I just feel that the opportunities we've had through this particular education, which was free if you embark on this journey yourselves, it was just absolutely phenomenal. They come with all the resources, with fantastic lessons, and it's just great. And I've got it all there to use now for next year, so that's absolutely wonderful. So this workshop ran as a carousel, and it was all to do with palm oil. The children became detectives to find out who had killed the monster flower. And I've got an actual picture there because I had to look at how to say it. I think it's so I'll go back to that now. They became detectives to find out who had killed the monster flower. I think it said the roof fleecia. Annual I think it is, Annual DI. I'd have to practice that, but that's what it's called. But we called it the monster flower, and it's native to Southeast Asia and tropical rainforests. After hands-on investigations and research, they discovered it was a result from monocropping and deforestation. And this type of language, I lead oracy in the school as well, and the language was absolutely phenomenal. The language associated with tropical rainforests and deforestation. The children understand and really understand the terms agroforestry, monocropping, embedded soy. You ask any of the former children and the ones I got so far, they understand all this new vocabulary, which is wonderful. And this is just an example of planning. This is the soy investigation. Now, there's probably about 8 pages to this, and it sounds a lot, but it's very, very easy to follow. So it follows an inquiry process to learn, investigate, act, and inspire. And any pictures and text cards are linked for you to print out. Teachers have planned this and linked the planning to the What's Matter statements and the programmes of study. They are also early years lessons available too. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. And there are comp lessons as well. So it's there for everybody. So the third workshop was about soy and beef. This was a great thinking task, critical thinking task. Pupils worked in small groups and they had soy suspect cards. So they each took on the role. You can see it slightly on the left-hand side there, but each of them took on the role of a soy suspect. So, we had a chicken, we had lots of different characters there. So they ranked the cards from the most to the least responsible for soy use. Then they estimated what percentage of soy each suspect consumes, and it was eye-opening. Most pupils assumed that humans eat the most soy, but they quickly learned it's mostly used in animal feed. This sparked great discussion around food choices and sustainability, and they understood the term embedded soy. Embedded soy is in so much of what we eat is quite an eye-opener, to be honest. So the next part of our journey was how can we use our voices and choices to help make our school and the world deforestation free? And being part of the Size of Wales gave us great opportunities, and I was yes please person. So when I was asked if the Deputy First Minister could come and visit our children, I said yes please, because it gave my pupils an opportunity to, to challenge leaders and to ask questions and for their voices to be heard. So we had lunch with decision makers. One of our pupils asked the Deputy First Minister, Hugh Davis, the question, if we want to reduce the sales of palm oil, then why don't you put an added tax to foods with palm oil in them? So, like you do with the sugar tax. It was interesting to see how he passed the question to Kerry McCarthy, the MP for Net Zero. And really, I'm big gutted because this lad here, he asked the question and I didn't catch it, but I did catch, I absolutely recorded the whole of this conversation, and she answered for about 5 minutes. I've only put a little tiny snapshot here. He just asked that question, why don't you add a tax to palm oil? Yeah, and there's Kerry McCarthy, and she is the actual MP for Net Zero. So it was quite incredible. They met an MP as well as a Senedd member. And then back in November, because I'd applied for the Size of Wales, could we become a deforestation-free school? And we were accepted. It is a process. It's not that hard to do, but you're really saying, you're committing to a journey with them. We were also given the opportunity to apply for whether we could attend Youth Cop Cymru, and we were accepted onto that, which was brilliant. So after our application was accepted for the incredible journey, we were thrilled to be invited to attend Youth Cop at the Temple of Peace in Cardiff, and to talk about starting big. It was just what an experience. On our very first visit, we had the privilege of meeting Teofilo Kukush Patti, and he is the president of the Wampis Nation in northern Peru. Our pupils were face to face with a global leader, and it was just phenomenal. The children were in awe of the building's prestige, and it's not every day you walk into a place called Temple of Peace, and even more so with a chance to ask questions directly to leaders from Wales and Peru. It was a powerful reminder that young voices truly matter on a world stage. And these children are my Global Voice Committee. So we were lucky to get, Senedd members and obviously Kerry McCarthy, the MP, into school for opportunities where all our children got to meet them. But these children from my Global Voice Committee had the opportunity to go to Temple of Peace. You can't take the whole class, but you can take a few children. And this is one of my pupils from last year. He's now in year 7. And he asked the question, how does the Wampis community stop illegal loggers, gold miners and oil companies? And are they peaceful protests? And he wanted to know about that because he was absolutely appalled by what they were suffering and what the Indigenous people were struggling with. And here he is asking the question in the Temple of Peace. And at that Youth Cop Cymru, a charter was made by the children, and there were a few little elements to that which were really important for our schools. And one of the biggest ones I see on there is using ingredients from local sustainable sources for our school dinners, and include more food education and commodities causing deforestation in the curriculum for Wales. And I thought this. By linking with the Size of Wales, it's all there for you, and whether you want to go down that journey or not, those resources are there for every teacher. So it's just click on the Size of Wales, look at the education, and it'll give you all the resources that you need, and they are high quality. So our topic on tropical rainforest perfectly captures this idea and turns it into a meaningful social action. It's not just about learning facts, it's about inspiring pupils to make a real difference. And I love this quote: through being encouraged to engage with, respect and challenge a variety of worldviews, as well as to understand how to exercise their democratic rights, learners can imagine possible futures and take social action. And I find my best lessons are where we're doing something really purposeful and something where the children are acting, they're taking some sort of social action. They like that empowerment. And following that, then, this wasn't part of the Size of Wales, but the children were so inspired and they had so many ideas. We decided to hold our own Littered Rainforest Convention. So I suppose it was our fantastic finish. So the Year 6 pupils took the lead in organising a rainforest convention, inviting parents in the community. It began with a Global Voice presentation, followed by 2 pupils delivering speeches on deforestation and cattle farming. Pupils ran interactive stalls based on the 5 key commodities. Visitors rotated between stalls every 5 minutes, signalled by a loud caw sound. So yeah, we had caw, and it was almost like speed dating, where all the parents would move from one station to the next on the sound of the bird. Before starting, parents answered questions via Google Forms, so our children gave them questions to find out what they already knew. And at the end, they made pledges like downloading the palm oil app or choosing local beef. Pupils also served fair trade coffee at the event and orangutan themed chocolate cakes. And it was a fantastic way to showcase learning and inspire action. And we had such great feedback from parents because all the children were so passionate and they were really selling, their knowledge and really ensuring that everybody there was taking some form of social action. And when they got to the stand where they were making pledges, nobody left without making a pledge. Right, I've got a few videos and I'm going to leave them on there. I won't go through this one, but I've got quite a few more. But these 2 boys, one little lad had ASD and one had a real speech impediment. And it was a huge thing for them to get up and say their speech, but they did a speech on cattle farming. So cattle farming in the rainforest, and it's just incredible. But I'll leave it there for you to watch if you wish. Oh, look, sorry. Well, come on, I have said. It's jumping on it anyway. Hang on. Whoops. There we go. Right, and moving on to the investigate aspect of going through this award as well. We looked at our ingredients, our school ingredients, which might contain deforestation ingredients. So we looked at chocolate, thinking about the fair trade aspect. We looked at cheese and breads and what might include embedded soy. Yeah, so we moved on to investigate the aspect of the award where we looked at our school menu. Children were able to talk about the embedded soy and fair trade. Pupils worked in groups to look at the school menu and think about what they could change. So they sat in their little groups and they really looked through the menu and they thought, right, what could we change on our school menu to ensure it hasn't got palm oil in it, it hasn't got embedded soy, and it is fair trade. And they came to the consensus that they would change the school pizza. And this is just a form that they use to help them. And this is part of one of the worksheets from the Size of Wales. It says investigate your school meals and it asks questions like, if the dish contains cacao, is it fair trade? Is your dish plant-based, meat-free? So they were using that to help them think about their school menu. And then we took the children to a farm called Slade Farm Organics, which was paid for by a local by our council actually, and I put the link right at the end. I'll talk about that later. But we met the farmer, and he was showing us how he ensures sustainability within his farm. We made a video, so we created a pizza, and we made a video to send to the catering suppliers designing a deforestation-free pizza, and we also sent it to our local council and received positive response. Our pizza included RSPO, which is the Round Table or Sustainable Palm Oil, as an alternative. And here is the video that our children created to send to our school meal suppliers. So that was quite good fun, to be honest. And you know what? I started writing the script for the children, and I soon ripped it up and just left them to it, because they were so much better than any script, and it was much better. It came quite naturally. They organised that themselves and did the video themselves. So anyway, we had some great feedback. So we sent it to all these different people from our council that might make a difference and might help us take action. So yeah, so the councillor Hugh, which is the cabinet member for climate change and the environment, the mayor himself at the time, the deputy leaders, social services, health and wellbeing. So we sent that video to those people, and we also sent it to Castle Howell, who was our food supplier as well. And with some great feedback back for the children. That was great. So they said they were really positive. They were going to bring it up in their next meeting in their council, and our children were over the moon that their voices had been heard. And then being part of the Size of Wales brought us great opportunities, because we welcomed two wonderful ladies from Uganda. So we welcomed Deborah, an environmental conservation champion from Uganda, recognised for her work as a gender and tree planting champion with organisations like the Mabali Tree Growing and Green Energy. She helps women plant trees for reforestation and economic benefit. She leads community initiatives and works to increase women's participation in environmental activities. And Deborah showed pictures of her community and children at school, which were very different to what our children experienced. And they just loved this opportunity to meet these two wonderful ladies who told them what life was like, what women did. And she was saying up until a couple of years ago, you know, women didn't have the opportunity to do different things, to do different types of work. The men would do certain things, the women would do certain things. They would look after the children, ensure that the cooking was done. But these ladies wanted to do more, and they hated seeing what was happening to their forests around them. And so they wanted to make an impact on reforestation, and that's what they did. So it was the ladies, it was the women that went forth then and ensured that they were planting all the trees, which was a big step. And Jane Hutt, SM as well, came along with them. And it was a really lovely thing to do as well. So we planted a tree with the ladies from Uganda, and it's still here today, which is a good thing, actually, because we had a little bit of dry weather, then we had a huge amount of wet weather, but that tree is still standing. So there's another picture. This lady on the right here, she is one of the teachers from the Size of Wales. And then came a bit of a shock to us, because it was just at the end of the year, and I thought we've covered so much, and I was just preparing for our end of year concert for year 6, and all of a sudden we had to stop because we had the inspection call, and it was straight on, you can't stop now and do a concert, you've got to teach now for the next fortnight, ready for the inspection. It's not that I wasn't teaching, it was just I was going to put a lot more time into doing an end of school production for our year 6 leavers concert. So having met the MPs and the Senate members back in February, I took a risk and handed much of the teaching over to the Global Voice Committee. because they'd made the video. The children took the lead by writing letters. They told leaders what action Year 6 had taken so far and asked what progress had been made on the promises discussed earlier in the year with Hugh Rankin-Davies and Kerry McCarthy. The Global Voice group rallied the class by sharing the campaign video and encouraged everyone to get involved. It was pupil-led learning and social action in action, to be honest. So yeah, for my lesson, I just handed it over. I took a risk. They were confident children, and I put my whole heart in them, to be honest, and they did a phenomenal job. And I was just like a facilitator in the lesson, but it seemed to go down well because the children knew what they were talking about and they were passionate. One of the activities I did in that inspection lesson, before we were writing the letters, I love Fed in Facts. We are an Oracy school. We had a lot of Voice 21 training, but it's embedded now, Oracy is, in what we do. And it's a great tool for anything in humanities. So yeah, straight away, we did a consensus circle where I gave the children just reminders of everything that we've been doing that year. So they read through lots of Fed in Fact cards, and then they came to a consensus of what are the factors, what are the main commodities that cause deforestation in our school meals, and what are the factors cause problems as well. And they had lots and lots of ideas about that. And then following that, we did also a Harkness tracker where they discussed the key points about creating a deforestation-free school menu. And anyone who's used a Harkness tracker, they love that as well. One person tracks who's speaking, and it ensures everyone gets their voice heard and their opinion heard. So these are some of the comments at the end. So lots of staff said it's improved skills and vocabulary, improved curiosity and inquiry skills, in-depth knowledge of deforestation issues. And what I've included here is just the curriculum statements against some of the activities we've done and the progression outcomes. So they're all there as well. This year now, we were invited again, but our children, because of what we've been done in the charity, they were very happy with our passion for the subject and the children's attitudes. We were invited again to Youth Corp Cymru, but we were invited to present, and that was just phenomenal. So I've been working with the Year 7 children up in our local school, which is Bryn Teg Comprehensive School, and we took the 10 children from the Global Voice Committee to Youth Corp Cymru, where they presented on stage their journey to become a deforestation-free school. And the opportunities they had were incredible, again, because they got to speak and ask questions to our Welsh leaders. So here we've got Global Voice Committee telling a story from the future, imagining it's the year 2045 and Wales was a deforestation-free nation, and their voices at Youth Corp helped make the change. So these children were in Year 6 last year, they're in comp now, but I worked with them and Laura, who was on the right, we worked together as a group to write a speech imagining what life would be like in the future if we had reforestation. And of course it does go on, but it was just an incredible, proud moment for me. And I got to say, it was probably one of the highlights of my career to know that we've taught that together, and those children want that social action. I mean, I was welling up just watching them. It was just so powerful because they finished that. I would say we finished the journey around the June time, and got back together in September. They were so pleased to be talking about it again, and we've just had this incredible opportunity now. They want us to be part of shaping the next Youth Corp Cymru as well. They want these children involved in it so that they're planning it. So it's not planned purely by adults, it's planned by children, which I think is brilliant. And then off the cuff, we were asking questions down the line. So we've got the leader, lots of different leaders there, but we've got the owner of Castle Howell there, lots of different delegates. And actually, my pupils on the left-hand side, so they were literate pupils, the year 6 pupils I took for the first time this year. And it was wonderful for them to see the year 7 pupils, the former literate pupils, with their confidence just asking questions. So this is this is just a little clip. So yeah, he was just, that microphone was being passed down and he just grabbed the microphone to answer the question very confidently. And so our next steps, I'm not letting this go. I'm really passionate about it. It's excellent. It's excellent teaching and learning. It's exact to me. This is what our education's all about. And I just love the fact that the children are able to take social action themselves. So my biggest thing now would be to work with the local comprehensive and help organise the next Youth Cop Cymru, because it'd be great if our children get a voice and they can run some of the workshops. So that's my next step with that. For the children that are here now, they're going to lead assemblies and campaigns. They're going to revisit the school's food source and a sustainability practice. We won't give up. This year again, we'll be lobbying and trying to change our Bridgend menu to make sure it's deforestation free and using fair trade. We've had lots of promises from Senedd members. They are fully supportive with it. They actually fund the Size of Wales charity. So hopefully we'll get some real action.